as we work towards a sustainable future. What's on the line is whether or not we will have communities healthy enough to sustain life for the future. That's what's on the line. And I think we were a pretty morally compelling voice to be delivering that message. And we talked about the need to not only pass bold and comprehensive legislation that would address climate change and would help us take advantage of that Saudi Arabia of wind potential in the middle part of the country and the Saudi Arabia of solar potential in the southwest. But we also talked about solutions that were already happening. These are some of the things that I have seen as I have traveled across this amazing country and met young people at college campuses who are just like yourselves. This is some of the solutions that they have already accomplished. Friends of mine in Tennessee a couple of years ago decided that they wanted their college campus to be powered by wind power. They said, you know what? We know that we are in the epicenter of coal country, but we also know that our families haven't worked in the coal industry in a very long time because a lot of those jobs have left. And that coal continues to burn in our communities, and our moms and dads and our grandparents have gotten sick from the dirty coal that is in this part of the country. And we want to set an example. We want our university to be powered by wind power. And so they started organizing. They started going to their student government and to student organizations on campus, and they said, could we make a strong enough, a compelling enough case to the administration to see if we could get our energy from a different source instead of coal, to get it from wind power or solar power? What would that take? And they did lots of research. They went to science students and they learned about the science of wind power. They went to their local utilities and they figured out whether it was even possible to get wind energy. And at first it was just 5 or 6 of them, 5 or 6 students, and they were lucky enough to be talking to 5 or 6 students at other campuses around the country that had similar goals. So they had that support system. And the Energy Action Coalition and the Campus Climate Challenge was really proud to be able to provide that support. And they figured out who needs to say yes for us to be able to make this happen. And they talked to their college president, and they talked to their facilities manager, and they talked to their administration. And it became very clear that what they were going to have to do was they were going to have to pool the resources of the students on that campus, the power of the people on that campus, to make something happen. And you know what they did? They got 80% of their student body to say, I want my campus powered by wind energy, at least 25% of it. And that was a pretty compelling argument. The university had said they needed at least 75%, but they got 80% of their campus to say that. Well, now was the tough next step. It was who was going to pay for it, and how are they going to pay for it? Well, of course, they got a response that I think a lot of us hear when we go and ask for things. The budget is tight. We don't know if we can do this. Why wouldn't we just get energy the way we've always gotten energy in the past? And they said, okay, let's look at what our university is spending money on. And it turned out that the university had very high energy costs, in part due to the fact that the buildings on that campus weren't as efficient as they could be, and that there were some simple projects that could actually bring down the overall cost of energy on campus. They could add some insulation to windows. They could change the heating and cooling settings in the buildings. They could shut down the computer labs at night. It wasn't actually necessary for them to be leaving on all the lights in the buildings when students weren't in there. And the students made a compelling enough case that through a number of efficiency measures, they could bring down the cost of energy on campus, enough for there to be a small pool of money to actually help in the cost of purchasing wind energy. And today, 25% of that university is powered by wind power. And that victory has led to 12 other institutions across the state of Tennessee also being between 10 and 25% powered by wind power. 12 universities. And that has led to there being a resolution in the Tennessee state legislature to try to get the entire state to purchase part of its energy from wind power. And that all just started with a couple of students at one school in Tennessee. And that is one of thousands of stories. In California, it was students that helped pass an initiative to get 1 million roofs across the state of California to have solar panels. That started at one university in California with 3 or 4 people. In Wisconsin, students, a place I'm quite proud of because I happen to be there, students at a number of institutions helped to convince the governor. It wasn't the state legislature that convinced the governor. It wasn't big, fancy campaign donors that convinced the governor. It was young people on college campuses across the state that convinced the governor to commit to making 5 universities 100% powered by wind power within the next 10 years. That was students. And it doesn't stop there. It's not just college students. It's not just affluent folks. In the city of Oakland, it was young people at a community college that worked with the city of Oakland to say, you know what? Low-income people in this city are paying too much on energy bills. It's because their homes are leaking energy. And there's also this massive problem with unemployment in the city of Oakland. Do you think we could team up and see if we could train a group of young people to do home efficiency projects, to go to the most low-income areas of Oakland, California, and teach families how to save money on their energy bills, and at the same time train a group of young people to have really good jobs in the city? And it was young people from that community college working with the city of Oakland and the mayor of Oakland and the University of California, Berkeley, and the University of San Francisco that came together to start doing efficiency projects on thousands of low-income homes in the city of Oakland. And the net result of that was thousands of people paying anywhere from $100 to $500 less every year on energy costs. So when we're talking about the power of young people, when we're talking about what it means to really fight for a clean and renewable energy future, we are not just talking about the environment. We are talking about the environment. I love the environment. I love the beautiful trees on this campus. I loved, driving into your university this morning and seeing the beautiful physical, environment around us. But the fight in front of us, my friends, is not just about the physical environment. This is about people. This is about jobs. This is about making sure that in Detroit, Michigan, where thousands of people have been laid off from auto manufacturing companies, this is about putting them back to work, building the most efficient green product that General Motors and Ford have ever produced. This is about people throughout Appalachia who worked in coal mining communities where the coal mining jobs have left. This is about putting wind farms on top of those mountains and making sure that they have jobs for the foreseeable future. But this is about what NSU can look like. I had the opportunity to meet with student leaders this morning and hear that here at NSU,